AIBC Sigma Eurasia 2024 Day 1. Astrid Safarian is here at Sigma Media Lounge. Now let me introduce my guest. Matt Hookings, a Welsh actor, writer, producer, entrepreneur, and also founder of the Camelot Films, right? Hello, Matt, and welcome to Sigma Eurasia. Thank you for taking your time to have this interview with me.
No, thank you for having me. You got it all in one. It's great.
The pleasure is all mine. Matt, let's go back to the beginning of your career. You started your career as a stunt performer, right? Doing the movies with Angelina Jolie and Tom Cruise, which was a promising debut. And the last film you've been involved in was The Prize Fighter, which you wrote and you starred as a lead actor with Russell Crowe. So you wrote the story based on untold true story of the box champion Jem Belcher, right? So can you please tell us about how was your experience on making it all and putting it all together?
Yeah, sure. So I started as a stunt performer, gathered an amazing amount of experience and worked with some amazing people like Angelina Jolie and Tom Cruise and various other people. Took that knowledge, created my own company. My passion was always the acting, so I integrated that with the company and the acting, started making my own films. Fast forward 5-6 films later, Prize Fighter was a very big passion project for me. And
was it a Camelot project or no?
Yeah, it was my production company. So I produced it, I wrote the story, and I played the lead role. And my dad was a boxer, so the link was through him. And I just embodied the role, and then just went down the rabbit hole of research and learning everything, and just figured that it was right to play the part and put everything together. And obviously managed to get Russell Crowe and Ray Winston, some other great cast. But it was a great experience, but very, very challenging.
Yeah, that was actually my next question, because I learned about it that your father was a boxer, a champion, British champion. So did the fact of your father being a boxer anyhow helped you to create the character of Belcher?
So my dad's not alive. He's passed away from the boxing.
I know.
So it was very...
Sorry for that.
That's okay. No, it was very... it was a very sort of weird chain of events because, growing up, boxing was considered the thing to avoid because my dad did it and passed away essentially from injuries sustained in boxing. So when this film came and I became really close to it, it kind of brought back a connection with him, even though he's not alive, that I sort of had to rediscover later on in life. So it was great. It was unique, and it was hearing all these different stories about people talking about him as well. That was interesting. Things I didn't know about. Ray Winston knew him and was friends with him, and all these different stories and all the podcasts and things I did off the back of it. Especially boxing related, came through my dad. So in terms of the preparation as a boxer, yes, there was a lot that I sort of gathered and took from him in that sense. But then putting it all together, I had to merge that with the acting and
again, trained as a professional boxer, which was how long it took?
Oh God, my story's crazy. I started training like 4 years before the film, so I was coming home with broken ribs and nose, and everyone was like, "What the hell are you doing? You don't know if this film's going to happen." But I wanted to get into that mode of becoming an actual boxer. I did a lot of research on films, and I saw that there was a lot of actors that were playing boxers, but you could tell they didn't have that much experience boxing. So I really wanted to get that right. I really wanted to look like a boxer, act like a boxer, and perform like a boxer. And you just can't do that without time. You need a considerable amount of time. So I trained years in advance, and I became really sort of addicted to it. And it saved me in a weird way. It's a kind of weird quote to say, but boxing essentially killed my father, but it saved me. And it's really like interesting to play that, because I was able to go and release tension and energy and stress, physically in the ring. So it was a great experience, and I love it today.
Yeah. Matt, being a producer and actor at the same time, you're basically taking both sides. You are behind and in front of the camera. So which side you fancy more?
God, that's a very easy answer. Acting, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so much easier.
Easier.
Producing is very, very difficult. It's managing a lot of people, all at the same time, who all have different needs, requirements, personalities,
Yeah.
you know, different genders, different
is-
ages, everything.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a film is a bit like a lottery. So you have to get all those people together in one area for a month or two. Everyone has to get along.
Yeah.
Everyone has to make something work, and they're all creating something. You know, they're all working to create the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just very hard, you know.
It is because nowadays it's just even harder to just coordinate and get together with the family members.
yeah.
Let alone
You go for a family dinner, and there's loads of, you know, the uncle's arguing with the niece or whatever it may be, and that's, you know, 5, 6, you know, 10 of you. Try, you know, 150 or 200 people. It's very difficult. So it's all got to work. And whenever someone's got a problem or an issue, or they want to tell you something, they always come to you.
yeah.
So while I was filming and acting,
It's more responsible.
yeah,
Yeah.
I remember filming the one day with my boxing trainer, and he was just so blown away. He said, "Matt, I've just seen like 10 people go up to you and ask you for something, or ask you is this sorted or that sorted, and you're trying to figure out, you know, think about the acting, and you're dealing with all these different problems as well." So it was very, you know, it's a very challenging thing to do. So much prefer the acting to the producing.
Artificial intelligence has also entered the creative world as well. So, and it's transforming the way people work in TV, movies, in cinema industry.
Yeah.
So, can you please tell us about the impact of AI on the industry?
Artificial what? Sorry.
Intelligence.
I'm joking. I just, I nearly had you.
You're being British.
Well, sure. Yeah, no. So AI is very interesting to me because, you know, I want to be part of the shift and what's moving forward. So I'm really interested in everything that AI has to offer in the film industry, and I've been using it as well, especially with this next project that I'm doing. You know, and it can have a lot of benefits and, you know, help you in so many different ways. However, you know, obviously, I don't want it to get too powerful where it starts replacing actors and starts replacing, you know, the actual artistic element of the industry. And it's already starting to do that. I've started to see some videos that have been generated in 1 or 2 minutes, and it's crazy what it can do. So, you know, the recent strike in Hollywood may have protected that to some degree, because there was terms and conditions that were put into the agreements to stop, you know, AI replacing actors or replacing crew members. So that's good. But you know, I'm generally excited by it. I think you know, it has a lot of benefits, especially with creating the world. You know, at the moment I'm designing something and creating a film which only I have the ideas in my head. So if I can input that into an AI software that generates my actual ideas rather than explain to someone else, and then they have to go and draw it or create it, and it's right or wrong. You know, it's really tricky. So it's I'm using it for the right reasons at the moment, for the good reasons, but I think it's going to have a powerful effect.
So, talking about your next projects, I know your next movie is going to be The Lost Book of Creation, yeah, which is a Camelot project, and will be filmed at the end of the year in Malta, right?
Yes.
So, can you please expand on this a bit, and also say how do you use AI in here or not?
Sure. Yeah. So Lost Book of Creation is next film. We start filming at the end of September, predominantly in Malta. We might be doing some filming in the Middle East as well. That depends. But at the moment, AI is really helping build the world, as I just mentioned. So we have it's an action adventure. It's very similar to Indiana Jones meets the Mummy. So there's a lot of temples. There's a lot of, you know, the lost city of Atlantis. There's loads of design creation elements that have to be built. So right now I'm using AI. I'm using a lot of platforms, Midjourney and a few of the other photography platforms, and also storyboard.ai, which is really cool, to build the world. So then once I've built the world, I can then pass this on and physically show you a picture of what I'm looking for, what I mean, or the design of what's in the scene. Because otherwise you're just reading the script,
Yeah.
and someone's just making their own interpretation. But then we're also using it to help design the costumes, create the props, all the stuff that we haven't actually physically made yet. So and I'm getting on with it really well. It's a really sort of useful tool, and the whole storyboard AI that you can actually storyboard the whole thing, you know, in a very short space of time is becoming very valuable and useful. I don't know how much more we'll put into it using AI, but it's it's quite powerful what we're doing, and it's getting it right. That's the main thing. The vision and the ideas in here are visually matching.
Yeah.
I'm asking it to create. There's a little bit of that's got it wrong, and you go back and you create a different prompt and a different algorithm and different thing like that, but it gets it right.
Well, being a writer, you create things which is it's you can never predict whether people will like it or not, because this is the problem of the creative world, right? Me being a professional singer and songwriter, I always face with this, because I always call it's uncut watermelon. You can never guess, because it can look perfect outside, but you can never guess if we cut it, people will like the taste or not. So how you deal with your failures whenever you feel that it failed, and is there any techniques to use to make the movie succeed or the story succeed?
That's a good question. Done your research. For me, there's a couple of things. There's a couple of sort of strands to that point. Number one, yes, everyone has a different opinion, which you can never change. But taste is very important.
Yes.
So you can make, you can compare a horror film to an action film to a drama film, but if the quality's always there, it will. The taste is the quality. If it's there, then that's the main thing. You don't have to. Someone might not like it, but go, okay, I get what they're trying to do. Yeah. You can't ever change that, but taste is very important. So first of all, it's making sure the quality is there.
And also acting, no?
Yeah,
because there are some movies that, but there are some movies that I just watch for acting, just enjoying the acting of the actors. So
and there's movies you want to watch and get lost in and not think about,
this is another type of quality you put, right?
Yeah, it's entertainment. We all need it. So, opinion and taste to me mean very different things. For me, I really enjoy what I do, so I make it for myself, and as long as I'm happy for it, it doesn't, for me, I'm kind of past that point of, I've done a bad film, which, got a lot of negative feedback, and I've done a good film that had a lot of positive
How you
feedback.
dealt with it?
So it's
emotionally or mentally, how you did that?
I don't know, for me it's funny, I actually like and laugh at some of the negative.
Really?
So, because it's just like funny.
You transform it to like...
Yeah, and it's interesting, I don't know, but I think it's good to have the variation, and not everyone's going to love your singing or your films or whatever, or the type of music. Everyone has a different taste. So as long as you get the quality right, as long as you're doing it for yourself and the passion. I made an art house film a couple of years ago, and everyone hated it. I was so proud of it, because I knew that film would never have been made if I didn't make it. And it's a very obscure film that would never have got made in with anyone else, because it was just the nature of the project.
You know that at least you put quality there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said, in terms of my world, the film world, there's things you've got to get right that you just can't afford to not get right. Acting, you can't afford to have bad performances. You can't afford to have shaky cameras or anything that affects the quality. If you get those things right first, and then you land with the audience sort of being captivated, then that's a win-win. Like I said, it's like a lottery. It's so hard to make a film, then make a film that is good, and then make a film that everyone enjoys. It's very, very tricky.
And also luck, no?
So much luck.
In creative world, luck is the main core.
Luck, timing, and we're not even talking about or comparing what's going on in the world. I remember I was doing stunts on a film about 10, 12 years ago. Everyone was very excited about it, had a big cast in it. Got completely shunned because it had a terrorist link into it, and at the time there was an attack going on in Paris, and it was related to that. So they just binned the film. So COVID, whatever it may be, you've got to time it right with what's going on around the world as well. If a big event happens that's negative, I mean, Prizefighter came out in Russia in the cinemas, literally on the day of the war started with Ukraine. So there was no promotion, or there was no benefit to it. So luck.
My last question to you, Matt. You once said, let me quote, Never say you cannot do it. Say you haven't done it yet. So, Matt, is there anything you haven't done yet?
God, so much. Yeah, it's there's so much. I onto that quote, I always say as well. You know, you don't really lose. You're talking about how you deal with emotions and opinions of people that don't like your work. You know, you never really lose. You always just learn.
Sure.
So, you know, it's the same method applied to that quote.
And if you take lessons from your failures, it's a win, right?
Of course, yeah. Yeah.
It's
and
always a win.
You know, as long as you keep the hardest thing is actually just to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail at something or you lose or something doesn't go in your favor, you know, you can just go, okay, I'll give up on that and I'm not going to do that again. Great. But you can also go, actually, wait there. Now I've got to do something better or safer or whatever it may be. It's like, it's almost like being in a car crash, right? If you're in a car crash, you have a bad experience. It's not great. You get hurt from it or whatever. But, you know, at some point you'll go in a car again. You will, but you'll wear a seatbelt.
Yes,
You'll be
exactly.
you'll be with a more comfortable driver or whatever it may be. So that's keep going. Just keep going.
Thank you very much, Matt, for taking your time to have this interview with me. I massively enjoyed talking to you. From my side and from the whole Sigma group, we wish you best of luck. Enjoy the Sigma Eurasia in Dubai, and I hope our paths will cross in the future. So enjoy the rest of the day and wish you best of luck, and I hope we will see you again.
Thank you so much.